So previously we were calling 57%, and now we're calling 47%. So what happened here? So basically, the fact that villains bluffs have some showdown value, they have some showdown equity, means they don't want to bluff as much. They don't have as much motivation as they did before to bluff, since now they can just go to showdown and win some money that way. So what Hero has to do to keep villain bluffing is to sweeten the deal a little bit. He has to fold more often to the bets to incentivize villain to bluff. Another way to look at it is like this. If Hero were to keep calling 57% of the time, then villain could exploit him, by bluffing less, or perhaps not at all. So maybe in a little more detail, previously we didn't have to do very much folding to make bluffing look like a good idea for villains' air hands, because there wasn't much reason for them to check down. If they check down, they lose the whole pot all the time. So checking was a pretty unattractive proposition. It just didn't take that much folding on the bluff catcher's part to make bluffing an attractive option for villains' air hands when they had 0% equity. But here, when his air hands, or his strongest bluffing hand in particular, has 18% equity, checking's a pretty good option. So we have to really be folding a lot more to make bluffing also a good option, or as good of an option. So really, the important lesson here is that when equity distributions are such that villains' bluffs have to come from hands with showdown value, they have to come from parts of his distribution with showdown value, like in this case, villain just doesn't get to the spot with very many complete air hands. We're taking a pretty small amount of his distribution to use as bluffs, and we're already getting it up here with, to hands with significant equity. Okay, so in these situations, Hero has to bluff catch a lot less at the equilibrium. So, there's also spots where, we saw some of these at the end of the river chapter in the book. There's spots where the bottom of a player's distribution is going to have like 50% equity or something. So in those cases, we should be calling much less than the naive, or when I say should, I mean the equilibrium is to call much less than the naive auto profit calculation is going to suggest.